Hello and welcome to this video. I've been asked by a number of people this year to create a video talking about the equipment that I carry when I go backpacking. So what I've decided to do is, on this particularly nasty wet day, is to do exactly that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the equipment out of this particular rucksack, lay it out on the floor, and I'll talk you through exactly what I carry when I go on a multi-day backpack. What I'll also do is I'll also put on the screen the weight of each item, and at the end of the video give you my final base weight depending on what I'm carrying. So hopefully this video will help you understand what I carry, and hopefully it will help you shape your decisions when you decide to buy equipment to go backpacking yourself. So here we are then with all my equipment now laid out on the floor, and what I'll do is I'll start off with the big three. So we'll go to this corner over here where we'll look at the rucksack. This is my ULA Circuit 65 litre rucksack. For years I've been carrying and backpacking with a 50 litre rucksack, but I've gone to 65 simply because this is a roll top bag. So if I don't need all of the extra space, I can just roll it down and the rucksack compacts very nicely. The reason I bought a larger rucksack was because I've got an aspiration to do some much longer multi-day hikes, and it may well be at times that I have to carry 6 or 7 days worth of food. The 50 litre rucksack would never have coped with that. This 65 litre rucksack will, hence the reason why I bought it. I've got to say, it's probably the most comfortable backpacking rucksack I've ever worn. The way that the weight is transferred to the hips is fantastic, and well, whilst you know you have the weight on your back, it is very, very comfortable with no aches and pains. So that's the ULA rucksack. Moving across, we've got two tents here. Most of you will have noticed on my videos, particularly the Pennine Way, that I was camping in my Vaude Power Lizard ultralight 1/2 2-person tent. That's a Sil nylon tent, single vestibule, hooped tent, and performs brilliantly in windy conditions. I will never get rid of that tent, and will continue to use it for other backpacking trips that I have, particularly in the mountains, or if I suspect that the weather is going to be particularly bad. Moving across, this is my latest purchase. This is the Tarp Tent Notch Lithium tent, which I've just bought and had imported from America. This is a tent that's made of Dyneema, and I first used this tent on the Heart of Wales Line Trail, and bought it because if I'm going to do ultra long treks, then this tent is a much better fit for me because of the weight. This one only weighs 605 grams. So you know, it's basically half the weight of the Power Lizard. It's taken me a little bit of getting used to with regards to space, because it's much smaller than the Power Lizard, but it's put up with trekking poles, and so consequently that's where the weight saving comes from. But that's my my Tarp Tent Notch Lithium. And then moving across, we've got a full length regular Thermarest, which I've moved to recently. I was for years and years and years using a 3/4 length Thermarest. This is the Neo Air, by the way. But since I've moved to a quilt, which we'll look at in a minute, from a sleeping bag, I find the extra length on the Thermarest much more conducive with a comfortable night's sleep. So that's why I've moved to a full length regular sized Thermarest. Next to that is my pillow. I can't remember what the make of that pillow is. It weighs very little. I find it very comfortable. Get great night's sleep with that pillow. Right, this is my my quilt in its uncompressed bag, so I haven't compressed it right down. It's an Enlightened Equipment Revelation quilt, which I bought and imported from America. I'm really impressed with this. It says it's got a rating of going down to -10, and I never quite believe those ratings anyway. However, I've just had a couple of cold nights on the Heart of Wales Line Trail, and I was really comfortable all night in that quilt. So the beauty of this quilt is you've got a couple of straps which slip underneath the thermarest, and it enables me then to get a good night's sleep, because for years and years and years with mummy bags, I used to get tangled up in the bag, couldn't get comfortable, waking up every time I turned over. Well, now with this particular quilt, I have a seamless turnover in the night, and I sleep much better as a result of it. So that's my quilt. Next to that is a straightforward rubble bag. So I put the quilt in the green bag, in the green stuff sack, and I put that into a rubble bag, and that goes into the bottom of my rucksack then. And when I pack my rucksack away, I put which we'll come on to in a minute, my dry clothes, my pillow, all goes inside the quilt as well, before it goes into the green stuff sack, before it goes into the rubber bag. So my dry clothes do remain dry, so that when I get to camp I've got nice dry clothes to put on if it's been a wet day. Okay, moving across, these are my dry clothes. This is what I wear when I'm in camp in the evening. The grey shirt is identical to the one that I wear when I'm walking. A really good deal on them actually. This is Outdoor Research base layer, really quite lightweight, very comfortable. So I bought 2 of those. Wear one in the daytime and then put one on the evening. Next to that I've got a pair of Ron Hill Tracksters, and then a couple of spare socks. I've got a pair of liner socks there, the black ones, plus a pair of walking socks, which are the blue ones. And I tend to sleep, if it's a cold night, wearing the black liner socks. And if it's a multi-day trek, then what often will happen is I will wash my socks out, dry them on the back of the rucksack, before I then put the clean socks on the next day. All right, let's move back over here now. Starting on the middle row. The yellow stuff sack is my food bag. I can comfortably carry 4 to 5 days worth of food in this rather large stuff sack, and that it carries everything I need for that length of time. Hat, my favourite, or one of my favourite Ice Bear hats, which is very comfortable to wear, and I often sleep in that as well because there's no hood on my quilt, so I'll often sleep with my hat on if it's a cold night. Pair of gloves, or mitts I should say. Yeah, rather on the thick side, I accept that. I probably could get smaller ones, but I like to keep warm hands, and I do feel the cold on my extremities, so until I can find a really good, efficient, lightweight pair, I'll stick with these particular mitts made by Trekmates. So quite like those. This is a relatively new addition to my wardrobe. This is a Rab, very lightweight wind shirt, incredibly light, but also very efficient. So I often use that just on top of my grey base layer. But if it's really quite windy, I just use it as a mid layer, and it's got very good insulation properties. So I've been impressed with that for the weight that it is and the size that it packs down to. It's got a pocket on the front, and the whole wind shirt will just fold into the pocket, so it's easily packable. Next to this, I got my waterproofs. So in the turquoise coloured bag are a pair of Berghaus Packlite trousers. Had them for years, relatively trusty. I keep them proofed so that they remain waterproof. They're looking a bit worse for wear these days with some of the buttons not working, so I might treat myself to a new pair. Next to this is another recent addition to my wardrobe, and I did talk about this on the Pennine Way, how impressed I was with it. This is the Rohan Helix coat, which again packs away into a pocket, so it's easily packable. That was quite an expensive jacket. I paid over, I think it was 175, I think I might have paid for that one in the end, and that was with a significant reduction as well. But it really, really does keep the rain out, unless, as I've described on Cross Fell, you've got a driving 40-mile-an-hour wind and rain hitting you, then I don't think anything will keep it. I don't think any waterproof clothing will keep you dry in that, other than an oilskin. And it did fail me there, but on every other occasion I've walked in the rain, that has kept me dry. Okay, moving across, got a red stuff sack there at the bottom, and on top of that red stuff sack I've got my my new down jacket and a pair of cheap Carrymore running tights. So this is a Haglofs Lim down jacket. Lim stands for less is more. Very, very lightweight. Very good insulation properties. Keeps me nice and snug if there's cold temperature at camp. And on one occasion this week when I had a really cold night, I slept in that as well. So can't fault that at all for the weight that it is. It's performing really well. And the tights are for walking in the daytime should the temperature drop to such a level that it's uncomfortable. Because I normally tend to walk in shorts and then will wear my waterproof Paclite trousers on top in very, very strong wind or rain, of course. But if it's going to be a very, very cold day and shorts are not suitable, then I will wear my Carrymore tights. Okay, moving back across then. I've got a couple of cheap disposable 0.6 litre water bottles, which I carry on the front of my rucksack. So I've got 1.2 litres with me. And then moving across just past my stove, this here is a 3 litre bag, which is made by a company called Knock. Easy to fill up from streams and rivers. So I've got an additional 3 litre capacity to carry water, which I often then will take to a camp spot if I know it's going to be a dry camp and no streams or water source available. Then I'll carry the water in. I don't like to carry it too far because as soon as you fill that with 3 litres, you significantly add weight to your rucksack. Between the bottles and the Knock bladder, I've got my cook pot. Now, do you know, I do not know where I got this from. I've had it for such a long time, I haven't got a clue where I bought it from, but contained within there will be my MSR Pocket Rocket stove. I've got a windshield, an Optimus windshield, which clips onto the gas bottle to ensure that you're protected from the wind. I've got 2 pots. One is 850 millilitres in size, which is my main cook pot, plus a smaller one which I tend to use for making coffees and soups in the evening. I've got inside there a small MSR stove stand in order to keep the gas bottle stable on the ground, and I've got a cigarette lighter in there as well to light my stove. So that's that. I'm very, very happy with that stove. I mean, the MSR Pocket Rocket is particularly good at boiling water very, very quickly. Next to the Knock bladder is my Sawyer Mini Squeeze water filter. I think any backpacker will admit that they hate filtering water, and I'm no exception. It's a time-consuming process. I'm not convinced on whether this Sawyer Mini Squeeze is going to be my future way of filtering water. It is quite slow and laborious, but it's necessary to do when water is of dubious quality. Next to that is my Ultrapod tripod, which I tend to use for filming and for taking photographs in the evening if I want to keep the camera steady. A couple of earplugs there for night time. This here are my headphones. I've got some headphones in there for camp. I've got a tiny little folding knife just here, which weighs next to nothing, which is very useful, very sharp, just does what it's needed to do. A pair of sunglasses here. Yeah. This is my mosquito head net, which I carry in one of the hip pockets of my rucksack. And then this is something that I really do quite like. This is my Anker solar charger, 21 watt solar charger. I've no intention of doing a review on it because I'm not technically minded when it comes to watts, volts, amps and ohms and all that sort of thing. All I can tell you is if I put that in the sun and I plug in either my Anker battery pack, which I'll come on to in a minute, or my mobile phone, it charges, and it charges quickly. So full sun, it's damned good, really, really good. It'll still charge on an overcast day, but obviously it'll be a lot slower. But I was self-sufficient for 17 days on the Pennine Way, didn't charge up anywhere. I charged everything up on that solar charger all the way. So as I said, I'm not going to do a review on that, but when you read people saying they're a load of rubbish, don't believe them. It got me through 17 days on the Pennine Way, so it must be good. This is my night light or night core head torch, which is again can be charged up by plugging into the solar charger or by plugging into my my battery pack via USB. Very, very lightweight. Couldn't walk with it very easily, but it's perfect for around camp. Toothbrush, and then a bag full of miscellaneous. You've got toothpaste, Sudocrem, a little bit of shower gel, sun cream. Moving along, my first aid kit. Got some Leukotape, scissors, disinfectant wipes, bandages, usual sort of stuff you'd have in a first aid kit. My Juice of Spades trowel for digging holes, toilet paper. I'm impressed with that spade actually, it's very, very lightweight and digs holes very nicely. My bum mat for sitting down when I'm having lunch or any stops, so I don't get a wet bum. This bag here is a rubbish bag, simple as that. It's a carrier bag from a shop. I think this one might be the next bag. Yeah, it's next. And I tend to use that just to carry my rubbish out. And when I get to a town, first bin I come to, I stop, take my rucksack off, get the bag out and empty my rubbish into a bin. My Garmin, my GPS Map 64ST with full UK mapping at 1 to 25,000. That goes with me, and I record where I've been and make sure I have enough battery life. So when I resupply, I will often buy new batteries as well. One set of batteries will usually last me 2 days. So that's got a good saving on battery power. This orange bag is my electronics bag. I've taken most of them out for you. There's a dual charge plug for if I did get to a place where I can charge items up, I can charge 2 at the same time. This is a little pouch full of some got some spare SD cards in there, so to back up any video footage or photographs I've taken on a long trek. USB cable for my phone, and in this little bag here is my 10,000 milliamp Anker battery pack, which will charge my phone 3 times and takes about 4 to 5 hours to charge up on the Anker solar charger when I'm walking along. So that's what that is. And then finally here is a buff, and this buff will be, when I was on the Pennine Way, that was my towel. So I don't carry a towel. I dried myself off with the buff, and it worked perfectly fine. So I didn't have to carry the extra weight of an absorbent towel. So that is my my rucksack contents. And I'll put on the screen, as I've said, all the weights of each one with a final base weight at the end. If you do have any questions, please just put them in the comments, and I'm very happy to answer. I always try to answer all comments that people are kind enough to make on my attempt at the videos that I make, and I'll respond as quickly as I can. So thanks for watching. Do appreciate it. All the best.